Okay, in this series of tutorials, I'd like to investigate um, methods of working with terrain and topography in formz in a different sort of a way that's not normally documented in formz documentation and YouTube clips, etc. What you normally find is you're normally working with contour information that you can either trace off a map image or and you could trace that off within formz, or you could be importing surveyor's information, normally of a drawing DWG format with contour information in it. But I'm going to suggest what we're doing is taking our own measurements on site with just a tape measure, and if we were to just triangulate measurements to pinpoint different points using triangulation methods, and then change those points in height because we've also taken some levels with an automatic level or something. Okay, so we'll just get started. Now before we do get started, make sure you've set your preferences up to meters under Edit Preferences. Just in there, make sure your project general default working units are in meters. And if you have to change that because you're set up in some other unit like millimeters, then you'll just have to close that file, file close, and then file new project to open up a new project after you've changed your units. Okay, so to get started with this, let's say we're out on site and we measured our first measurement, normally the whole length of one side of the site or something like that. And if we've been able to also take levels, we could then reduce that measurement that we took on site, because we probably took a sloping measurement along the slope of the ground. We could reduce that measurement into a true horizontal length. So let's plot, just using a line command, that first true horizontal length. And like I say, I'm just going to imagine up here this length is highlighted, so I'll give it the direction, and I should just be able to type 15 for 15 meters. Now that would be my reduced horizontal length, not the sloping length. Okay. Now, if I took another measurement out from this point here, if say I'm on site, we measured this and found out that its horizontal reduced length was, let's say, 12 metres, and then one from here being 7.5 metres, I need to sort of plot that. So the best way to plot that would be to use the arc command and go to an endpoint and draw your arc in a clockwise direction. So if we've got to say a distance out here, we've got to set the distance first. So once again, the radius now is highlighted up the top. So just give it your direction, type 12 for 12 meters, and then start scrolling in this clockwise direction. Scrolling that clockwise direction to put the first arc in. Okay, now escape out of that, and then we're going to draw another arc from this other endpoint to imagine we measured it at 7.5 meters. So type 7.5, enter, and you've now locked the radius in. So now you can sort of scribe this angle out here. And we'll escape out of that. So just going back, we've measured out on site, we found that this length here is 15 meters horizontal. From this end point to our other known point was 12 meters horizontally, and from this end point to this other endpoint here was 7.5 meters horizontally. So to enable me to find where that point is, I've just used simple geometric construction techniques of scribing arcs and then finding the intersection point of those arcs. Now the next thing was, we'll close up this triangle now and find it, but before you do, make sure you come down to your object snaps and make sure your intersection object snap is pressed on, so that you will be able to then find a line and then close off that shape from endpoint to intersection. Now to make sure you do get the intersection here, I'll just zoom up and you can see, whoops, you can see, well, maybe not zoom up too much, but you can see the endpoint and midpoints. The endpoints are coded red, the midpoints of objects are coded green, and the intersection of two objects will be coded a dark blue. So it's that intersection point that we want to draw from. Now I'll just escape so I can now draw from that endpoint. If the intersection doesn't look like it's exactly intersecting with the two arcs, that's just because of the regeneration of the arcs or the radiuses for the screen resolution. The blue dot will give you the accurate intersection of the two objects. So I'm just going to delete those two arcs now, and I'm left with that closed shape there. Now the closed shape hasn't filled in for me, so I think I probably now need to use the join command to join those lines together so that I get a closed shape. So I'll just find the join command. Not too sure where it is, but remember, in formz, if you can't find a command that you know exists, press the space bar to bring up your favourites and then type the first letter. And we can see there is a join. There's two different joins here. I might try that. I think it's this first one. I want just these 2D. Select one line, then the other line, then select that line and that. And that has joined those lines together and created a three-dimensional, a plane, a face that we could later manipulate in 3 dimensions. So now it's just a matter of continuing on, triangulating the information that you found out on site. I'll just do one more. So let's imagine that we took one other measurement out here and we had a certain distance from that point, and another one from here that we knew was a certain horizontal distance from that point. So I can go back to creating my lines, intersection, and from that end point to there. And I could create another shape, so I might go to the join command again. Now I'm not too sure if I can join tab through. No, I need another line. I think I need another line here from that end point to there, so that I can now use escape out and use the join command, and I'll find just that line and that one that's joined those two together. Now I'll find that one, and that's joined the 3 of them together. Might have been able to hold down the shift key as I selected those so I could select all 3 at once. I'll try that next time. So I've got another triangulated element that I'm building up on this site. Now sometimes you'll go back and to find, let's say I used this original datum to find a new point that was out here. So I'll just do that one next. I'll just draw an arc out here. Let's say we took a measurement from this original corner and we found some distance out this direction. Remember, they would have to be plotted as the horizontal distances. And another one from this point, once again plotted as a horizontal distance. So that was originally marked off there. But what I'm going to want to do now, even though I originally marked it off this back datum line, I want to triangulate it to an appropriate face in here. So I'll just now draw a line, say from there to there. So you don't have to triangulate to the point where you use the datum to measure from. So I'll be going from, and make sure you get intersection. It's most important. Once you find that, it can become an endpoint, and then I should be able to use the join command. Now let me hold the shift key now down to select all 3 lines in one operation, and then click out in space, and it found that. So yes, you don't have to do the join command twice. You can use your shift key to multiple select items. When you've finished multiple selecting items, you can then just click out in space to finish that setup there. Okay, I'm just going to pause the video for the moment now while I put in more points to demonstrate this a little bit further.